the beginning of this episode, Sylvie says something to Loki.
I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead and say it.
You know what I was going to say. All right.
Yeah, she's
So
been doing this
I
longer
was
before he was
pruned
born.
before you
Yeah.
even existed.
Yep. Yep.
What the heck does that mean?
It means that the timeline does not work chronologically correctly. Because okay, I'm gonna blow your mind. Okay, what if the timeline is it's okay? So you know what the infinity symbol looks like, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We've
Okay,
seen it in the show. It looks like an hourglass on its side.
exactly. So my theory, and this kind of bothered me too, Mike, until I really started thinking about it. What if the sacred timeline resets? So and every this would also explain your variation theory. Every time it resets, it could like okay. So let's say the timeline resets, and now we have a completely new timeline. Oh, this is a girl Loki variation. Prune it. New reset. Oh, this one's good. Keep it. New reset. Oh, alligator Loki. Prune it. New reset. Oh, black Loki. Prune it. So what if it's like that? What if it's like
Mm,
secular, where every cycle there's a new universe being created, a new timeline, and the TVA watches it and sees if it's okay or not. If it's not, they prune it. That could be. That has to be what they meant, because that is a legitimate plot hole. What she said is a legitimate plot hole because we thought that all these universes were being created at the same time, right? But no,
hmm
the variations are happening in different cycles, and it makes sense that
Yeah.
they're
If the timeline ends and recycles,
mhm.
perhaps she's from the sacred timeline cycle before
Yes.
Loki
That's the
is.
only way it makes sense. That's the only way that makes sense because we do see that they did say that, hey, we get a bunch of different Lokis, right? If that's
hmm
true, then that means they have a bunch of different instances where Lokis keep
But you know
getting
what? That
born.
still doesn't make sense because
It does. That
her
makes sense.
timeline, her timeline was pruned, so her timeline got sent to the void.
No, it's like, did you
So
ever
it couldn't have recycled and become
did you
Loki's
watch
timeline.
did you watch them when they hit the reset button? Did you watch what they did and how it looked visually?
It looks the same way when you get hit with a baton.
Okay, so if you looked, whenever they hit the reset button and it went off, like let's say the episode where baby Sylvie gets captured and they reset the timeline there, right?
Yeah, right.
Asgard, the total city of Asgard doesn't get destroyed. It's just these little bitty pieces around it. So her little toy boat was destroyed, and a couple of other
Is
things.
that not just what we see before the camera cuts away?
I think that when they hit the reset, they reset the timeline, right? And then they see if another timeline will be created, and if it looks good, no, prune it. If it doesn't work out, prune it. So what if all they
Mhm.
do all day is look at new? Like, he wakes up in the morning, like Mobius wakes up in the morning, gets some coffee, and says, "Okay, which timeline is this? This is timeline 2305 of the cycle of 10." And he has to look at 4 or 5 different resets every day, and then all of a sudden, he's like, "Oh god, I just like, prune this one. This is bad. Reset it. All right, let's try again." Like, what if they're doing it like that? What if their job is to keep the universe cycle going and make sure it's pure? I'm not sure what the end. Like, I think even Mobius said this. Mobius said that their jobs was to keep the timeline sacred until he who remains fixes the problem, and then they go to the end of time and just live
Mhm.
out. So like maybe that's their job, but again, they don't explain it. But maybe
Yeah.
that's what they're doing, and that kind of solves the plot hole.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I also wonder, did she misspeak when she said pruned?
No, she said prune.
Doesn't pruned mean you get, like, your body gets zapped?
Yeah, I think what she meant to say is that her timeline was reset, or maybe that she got that was bad. But you know what? It could be different editing problems. Cause like whenever they film a show, they have like 5 or 6 different endings, 5 or 6 different situations, and then the editors just put it together the way they want. So maybe that was a misspeak. That could be a misspeak for us, but it could be something that the script said for her, and they just
Mhm.
didn't catch it.